Good afternoon to all of you and my respectful pranams from India. I feel I'm reasonably fortunate and blessed to send this message to you from the foothills of mighty Himalayas and from the sacred and serene surroundings of Shantikunj Gayatri, from the Tapasthali of Param Pujya Gurudev, where divine vibrations of his presence can be felt at each and every step. But I'm equally aware that this message is reaching to you in one of the most adverse and critical and difficult times. These are kind of times when the existence of entire humanity is facing a threat from almost all possible directions, from global pandemic to raging fires to Barut blasts to volcanic eruptions. There are challenges coming from all possible directions. And in these reasonably challenging times, when all we hear are the echoes of pain and suffering, sorrow and grief, our collective prayers to Ma Gayatri for the betterment of humanity and upliftment of human consciousness becomes more important than ever before. Prayer to Ma Gayatri is always important, but in these critical times it becomes even more important. And I'm delighted, not only me, but every single Karyakarta of Shantikunj is delighted. Shraddha Dak Sahab, Shraddha Ji are sending their blessings that youth of Northern America, youth of Canada are organizing this virtual youth camp to think about the betterment of humanity. And they are also sending their prayers to every single person who is suffering in these challenging times. Besides these prayers, I would like to bring your attention to an exceptional worldview, talking about which I believe is very important in the current critical times. And I believe that that worldview has started to develop all across the globe in the last 200 years or so. Even if we are unable to see that happening in front of our naked eyes, because that kind of change does not take place every day, it is a collective transformation that has taken place in last century. We can easily witness the signature of that paradigm shift in the global consciousness in each and every corner of the world. No matter where you go and no matter to whom you speak to, you can feel that shift. And the shift that I'm referring to, it has started to become much more visible and much more apparent when we started to advance more in the fields of science and technology. Because as we started to progress outwardly in the external world, somehow we started to neglect our inner contentment, and the outcome is obvious. We have got money, but satisfaction is gone. And the scenes of chaos and confusion and conflict and dissatisfaction and anarchy, they have started to become much more noticeable than ever before. I'm not saying that they are only happening now, but they started to become much more noticeable than ever before, because the rift between external growth and the inner vacuum is much more visible than ever before. We don't have to be a Nobel laureate to notice that the pain and suffering and stress and tension and anguish that each and every individual is being subjected to these days, that kind of stress, that kind of anguish, that kind of agony was not even there at the battlefields of last century, or even at the time of Mahabharata or Ram Ravana Yuddha. This world of technological supremacy, where we have got comfort at our fingertips that we have now fashioned for ourselves, it is built at a cost of disoriented human aspiration and loss of inner bliss. Money and prosperity have come, no doubt, but it came at a cost of satisfaction and contentment. On one hand, we have got huge houses, colossal houses, palatial houses than ever before, but families are gone. Who is living there? We have reached to the moon, but forgotten ourselves. And worst of all, we have populated the planet but annihilated the humanity. This is the reality of the world, where we are struggling to find compassion, and greed has become the mantra for success. Did we really want this kind of world? Is this what we were looking for? And this happened because for long we have been dreaming a dream from which we are hopefully waking up. I can't say that we have woken up right now, but we are hopefully waking up. The dream that if we just give money to every single soul, if we just improve the socio-economic status of the people, if everyone can have money, power, position, whatever they wish to have, then they would be miraculously happy. That's what everyone thought. When people did not have money, that's what they desired for. But now when we have it, we know that the truth is different. As the struggle for survival has subsided, the real questions of the life, they started to become much more apparent than ever before. The survival for what? Now people have means to live, but no meaning to live for. I remember that, talking to a boy, and he said that this is the first time he got everything. Money, he's got plenty, he's living in London, and he's got such a strong elite background. And he was saying that the only reason I'm struggling because I can't really figure out that whether my presence is making a difference in the journey of humanity. People are really searching for the meaning. And this is the worldview that I'm talking about. This emerging worldview is based on a central perception, and the central perception comes from the teaching and ethos of all major religions of the world. Remembering from Socrates when he wrote on the Temple of Athena that know thyself. First, remember who you are. And everyone nowadays is trying to find the meaning and purpose behind this adventure that we call as the human life. Because we can have everything else. We can have all that we desire for. But if our purpose, if our meaning, if our direction that we are trying to choose for our life, that is missing, then whatever we do would remain futile. It would be absolutely meaningless. It would be absolutely purposeless. And these are the salient spiritual teachings of the world. This is the teaching of every single verse of the Vedas and Upanishad, which is to remind us that we as human beings, remember this, we as human beings are born with the capabilities and possibilities and potentials for a greater life than most of us would ever realize. We try to find the beauty of our life in a phone. Eyes are more important. If eyes are gone, that phone is of no importance whatsoever. We're trying to find the beauty in the luxury, but that is only dependent upon what we have. If that is gone, then everything is gone. And we know that as human beings, we have got possibilities to reach to the summits that not even possible for us to fathom right now. Even if we cannot find a scientific proof to validate it, we can always feel deep in our hearts a sacred connection that we come from a higher and supreme consciousness. We can always perceive this divine potential, and we can always sense that our existence is unfolding from a higher and supreme and divine and transcendental source, and our lives, they are carrying an unmanifested purpose, which Gurudev called as the latent divinity. Manushya mein devatva ka uday, dharti par swarga ka avtaran. He said that we are, as human beings, somewhere in between. If we start to descend in our lives, we could be just like an animal. Our life's pursuit would be limited to primal passions and desires. That's it. Feeding ourselves and increasing the size of the family. Is there anything more than that I am doing? No. So one possibility is that, but another possibility is higher up there. If we start to descend in our lives, we could be so bad that there would be no difference between I and an animal. Both would be the same. But if I start to go up higher in my life, in my pursuit, in my aspirations, then I could be so full of light and bliss that there would be no difference between I and the divinity. That's the beauty of human life. It is somewhere in between. We are the bridge between a Pashu and a Paramatma. We start to go down, we could become Angulimal. We start to go up, we can be Buddha. We start to go down, we could be a very, very bad soul. We start to go up, we could be Gurudev. And Gurudev reminded us that we have that kind of possibility. Every human being is full of this divine possibility. You remember, you come to the Shantikunj, and in Shantikunj you go to the Gayatri temple. In Gayatri temple, next to the Gayatri temple, he arranged the mirrors. Why? Because he said, pay the homage to Ma Gayatri, but don't forget that there is also a God inside you. Pay the respect to the God there, but don't forget the God. Don't forget the divinity. Don't forget the supreme consciousness that you are representative of on this planet. Remembering that is the purpose of human life. The message from Gurudev's teaching is crystal clear. Message is that if we feel misplaced, if we feel unsatiated, if we feel unsatisfied, it's not because our desires are unfulfilled. That's what everyone thinks. It is because we are yet to discover our true identity, our real identity, our divine identity. And we would continue to feel like that till we have accomplished what we are born to accomplish. But there is also something very important in that relation. Very, very important. And that is to remember that this imperfection that we feel, this shall not worry us. Because all of us are feeling a kind of something missing inside. And that something missing should not worry us. We should feel it more like a privilege, more like a promise, because it confirms that in us a divine force is still trying to manifest itself. There is a sacred consciousness that is still trying to discover its spirit. We are only lost because we are running in the wrong direction. We are trying to find it in the objects that would be gone along with us. I won't be here, so these objects won't be of any use to us either. But we are running after them. You remember the story of the farmer in Siberia that Gorky has written, and it's beautiful story. The story is of a man who heard that, if you go to Siberia, there in a village, they are giving land for free. Who wouldn't want to have that? So he said, okay, I will go and get the land for free. I will get as much as land I want. Went to the elder of the village. He said, are you giving land for free? He said, absolutely free. He said, what do I have to do to get it? He said, nothing, absolutely nothing. Wait for sun to rise. We give you 4 flags. He said, run with the 4 flags. I was trying to look for the flags. He said, run with the flags. And as far as you can go and plant one. North, east another one, west another one, south we are waiting for you. Whatever land you will cover till sunset belongs to you. But just you have to plant these 4 flags. He said, that's it. Elder of the village said, that's it. He said, how come no one has won it so far? He said, you run tomorrow morning, you will know. That's the run of your life.